Now, Otani's $700 million contract, I'm curious what you guys think about this. Is this a bad example, just contract going forward for what guys are going to start commanding this buku type of money? I mean, Juan Soto is a free agent next offseason, and now people are starting to throw the $500 million mark out, and it's like, whoa, this guy only hits. Like, he's not a two-way guy like Ohtani. Like, we're getting a little crazy here. Like, because prior to this, the biggest one was Trout at 426. So if we start hitting that $500 million mark, it's like, what does this really start, saying about all these other guys? I mean, like, this is getting a little out of hand.
I think that it's such a hard conversation. I think Soto's going to get 550. I really do.
That's absurd.
And the reason
the
why
Yankees?
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
LA.
But he turned maybe he turned down.
I wouldn't watch baseball anymore. He turned down $400 million, but it was like all deferred by the Nationals. Okay, so it was like he was going to get paid in like 2080.
Oh my god.
Okay, so he turned down $400 million, right? He's progressively gotten better. In a contract year, he has an MVP type season.
He's got to get that number.
He's going to get $500 million. Yeah. And if the Yanks don't give it to him, I will tell you, he will be a Met. 1,000%. So
yeah,
so like
bad.
Oh, yeah, and I will tell you, if he has an MVP season, the Yankees have to pay him.
Yeah,
the Yankees have to pay him, and no one can sit here and be like, "Oh, it's a bad sign." It's like, oh, fucking paying Stanton for God knows how long.
And I don't think anybody would be. You might get some detractors that are a little upset about the dollar amount, but still, if he's coming off an MVP type season, yeah, you can't blame him for going right after him after you just had him for that.
Yeah, Judge can't do it himself. Now, to answer your original question about contracts and all that stuff, I do think it's going to progressively get worse. I really do.
That's bad.
But if you look
it
at
always gets bad before. Yep.
Yeah, if you look at the NBA, right? Like there are role players that are getting $50 million, $60 million over like a course of 3 or 4 years, and they're not fucking worth that. So they're getting 10, 15, 20 million a year, and they're the average 7th, 8th guy off the bench, right? So it's like I don't like the only sport that I literally, and I go back to it all the time, that gets fucked is the NHL. Because the salary cap is legit $82 million.
Terrible, yeah.
So you have $82 million to fill a roster with 24 people. That's really difficult to do because you're going to have 3 or 4 guys that are making 8 to 10. Then you got to just kind of piece it all together. That's why in hockey, to see teams win 3 in a row, it's insane because no team ever remains the exact same for 3 years in a row.
Yeah, even back-to-back is crazy to see.
Yeah.
Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about Ohtani's contract, that $700 million, is just one little simple question. Do you think Ohtani will live up to $700 million? I mean, you're paying a DH as of now, and probably in 5 years, you're also going to be paying a DH because he's not going to be pitching all 10 years. Now, I'm not saying what the money that they're going to make from him. I'm sure they're probably trying to figure out deals of how to like put viewership in Japan. The Dodgers right now, they're probably doing something like that right now, trying to get their money back. And I don't blame them. But do you think that he's actually going to live up to $700 million playing wise?
So I'm glad you said you're not looking at it from that aspect because there is 2 ways to look at it. The financial recouping of the $700 million, which yes, they will recoup that. Will he live up to the $700 million on the field over 10 years? Short answer, no. Gray area answer, if they win 4 or 5 titles, yes.
That was I was going to ask you guys one question. What is your essentially definition of worth it? How many championships is worth it? And I think that's 5 might be the limit there. Can you say that, essentially every other year you're winning a championship? I think if you win 3 championships in that contract and everything fine, I know you can't look at it just financially, but everything financially that would happen if you win 3 titles in 10 years. I think 3 or 4 is the perfect number for it. And I think they get it. I honestly do. They're going to keep spending like crazy. That ownership group doesn't give a shit about luxury tax. They spend it. They go for the best guys. I can see them continuing to add in the next 3-4 years. And it really, like you're talking about, Dino, really kind of blow up the sport as far as financial contracts are going. You're going to see a lot more deferments from this organization as well.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you. Although I don't necessarily like. It's odd. Like I want them to win, but at the same time, I don't. I just don't want to keep seeing them in the playoffs and getting bounced and bounced and bounced because it gets old. I remember when the Dodgers won the NL West a few years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. That was exciting because it was finally like, wow, they like defeated the Dodgers that were just like the mighty Dodgers in the West. They were the underdogs. Like that was a cool story. And then for a long time, it was just like the Dodgers were the NL West division champs every year, and it was just like you handed them it like even before the season started, and it was like they're going to make a postseason run, and then they never really did anything with it. So I hope that does not happen. I want them to win, although I don't just because like I'm not a Dodgers fan, I'm a Yankees fan, but I
No,
do hope they win.
I know. It's a double edged sword. Like I like the
Yeah,
players that they have. Cool. It'd be awesome. Ohtani gets a ring. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But at the same time, it's like if you lose, it's like karma, you fuckers. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's a double edged sword.
And I love Otani so much. Like, I really, really do. He's probably my favorite baseball player. I want him to succeed, but I don't want to see the Dodgers keep winning because they're just buying championships.
exactly. All right, so it's just like a fair little sweep of an opinion that we're all in agreement with.